Now, what we're doing is we're cutting Democrat programs that we didn't want because, I mean, they made one mistake. They didn't realize that that gives me the right to cut programs that Republicans never wanted, you know, giveaways, welfare programs, et cetera. And we're doing that, and we're cutting them permanently.
President Trump calling out the Democrats' big miscalculation during the shutdown, now into its third week as it gives the White House the freedom to slash even more government waste. This comes as Fox confirms more than 2,000 federal jobs are already expected to be cut across 4 agencies. Here to react, former White House press secretary and host of Saturday in America, Kayleigh McEnany. All right, Kayleigh, was this a big miscalculation on Dems' behalf?
Without question. You know, the big criticism of Democrats during the first few weeks of the Trump administration was DOGE. They went on and on about DOGE and cuts and programs and firings, and that was their criticism. So they come up with this wild idea, let's shut down the government and give him an opportunity to do DOGE 2.0. And that's essentially what President Trump is doing, is slimming waste, fraud, and abuse. As Chuck Schumer prepares to go with marchers, he's going to be marching today at this million-person rally that, by the way, is partly supported by the Communist Party.
Yeah, this no kinks thing is unbelievable. We're going to be covering a lot of that. Let me turn to a topic that you and I have talked a lot about, I think everyone's talking about, and that is the fact that New York City is very well likely on the path to having its first socialist/communist mayor in Zohran Mamdani. And he came on, and I'm glad he did, and sat down with Martha McCallum. And his position on refusing to disarm Hamas really struck people. Then he had a different tune once he got to the debate. Watch this.
You won't say that Hamas should lay down their arms and give up leadership in Gaza.
I don't really have opinions about the future of Hamas and Israel beyond the question of justice and safety.
Mr. Mamdani, what do you believe about Hamas and how lasting peace will be achieved?
Of course, I believe that they should lay down their arms.
Kayleigh, a very different answer.
That's quite a 24-hour epiphany. He doesn't have opinions on Hamas. Griff, let me translate that for you. That means that Zohran Mamdani sat exactly where we're sitting on Martha's set and said, I don't have opinions about terrorism. That essentially means he said, I don't have opinions about 9-month-old Kafir Bibis, who was strangled by Hamas. That is him saying, I don't care. I don't have opinions about Hamas disarming when Avinatan Or was put in a 5-foot cage, the length of a mattress, handcuffed to the bars for an entire year. When you say you don't care about disarming Hamas, you are saying, I don't care about disarming terrorists who have killed babies. That is a disqualifying position, and the voters of New York City must disqualify that man. No one who aids and abets terrorism, and that is harsh to say, but if you can't answer that question right, you are doing that, should sit in the mayor's office in New York.
Yeah, and, you know, just quickly, it does seem, too, that this is distracting from his other issues and positions, which a lot of New Yorkers are worried about when it comes to things like private property.
Yeah, he wants to abolish private property. I have that clip. I'll be playing it in short order. And look, I know he cleared up his remarks about Hamas. He now wants to disarm them. But to say that 24 hours later, he's very much trying to have it both ways. And then the cherry on top is abolishing private property.
Now, you have his competitor on the show on Saturday in America. Tell me what you got.
That's right. So we had Curtis Sliwa 3 weeks ago. Today, we have Governor Andrew Cuomo, an exclusive. We haven't heard from him since the debate. We'll be hearing his thoughts on Zohran Mamdani, all the things we just talked about. Another great lineup. And Nick Sortor live from one of those protests in Portland. Big show, so tune in.
What's your driving question for Cuomo?
You know, one of my big questions that our viewers wants to hear is what makes you different from Zohran Mamdani? You know, there is this assertion Curtis Sliwa made that they are one and the same. So I want to hear from the governor on that. And also differentiating himself from someone who wants to abolish the system entirely. You have a Democrat who wants to work within the system and someone, a socialist, in Zohran Mamdani, who wants to abolish the system entirely.
Well, and it'll be interesting to see if he tells you. Mamdani has said he's going to stand in the way of President Trump in every way he can in New York City, whether Cuomo will take a different tune on that.
He said he wants to work with Trump. So
yes.
We'll see. Yep.
Kayleigh McEnany, can't wait to catch it. It's Saturday in America, coming your way in just about 30 minutes. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.